updates.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Yes, viewers, so yeah, we were getting into some conversations before we went to that break about what's been going on at the Buku Village Council. And but we're switching gears now to another issue that's kind of been in the space. And that's what's been going on with the demerit system and our, we've had some let's say some talk within the space about the amount of licensing officers that's in Tobago, and a lot of people getting tickets and receiving demerit points on their licenses and so on for infractions, whether it's for their vehicle or whether it's traffic offenses. So we are speaking this morning with Sgt Brent Batson about just some of those issues and some of those questions that you guys might have. So good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having us. Appreciate that.
Now I want to start off by I actually having you clarify. People like to say that the licensing officers are against people, or they just want to punish poor people, and some of these rules are not they don't make any sense. So I want to start off there.
All right, sure. All right. So, well, first of all, it's not just a licensing gets that, right? We get it too when we enforce any laws from the police standpoint. So there is a contingent, as you correctly said, of licensing officers here from Trinidad, but being led by the Transport Commissioner himself, Clive Clark. We are here to support that initiative from Traffic and Highway Patrol Branch, and Commissioner Christopher has road safety as one of her strategic goals under public safety. That being said, Tobago has a 300% increase in road traffic deaths for the year. And that's a serious risk problem that we cannot allow to continue. The behaviors that surround it, though, are things that are very preventable. If people wore a seatbelt, if people didn't drink and drive, if people would obey the speed limit, they may be alive today. So we're here to do two parts. One is educate, because a lot of people, we realize, don't seem to understand the ramifications of getting these demerit points. And two, to enforce. But my goal, I've always been a champion of educate. I would say before you start a crack ticket, let's just make sure people understand their roles and functions and the responsibilities of holding that driver's permit or license to begin with. So we'll be giving out literature. It'll be across the island. And I want everybody to be clear. When we say across the island, we don't mean Crown Point or Scarborough. So that's just a heads up how the blankets are going to be spread across. And our goal, like I said, is to help transfer knowledge, as well as if we see certain infractions that we're going to deal with it.
All right, so let me start with some of the traffic offenses that, well, I should say no, let's start with vehicle offenses, where people are not necessarily knowledgeable about, because I know that there are some of those laws, and then people wait. That is what they're giving me a ticket for.
Well, yes, so, that is true. That is, in fact.
So give me an idea of some of those things that people are not really aware of, so that our viewing public can just know that some of the things they need to make sure that their vehicles are in place for.
I agree with you. So first of all, everybody started to get a little panic. The moratorium on expired driver's permits and certificates ended the 1st of January 2023. So what does that mean? There's no bly anymore if you do not have your valid driver's permit, and there's no bly if you do not have a vehicle that's up to inspection standards, right? If you must have your inspection sticker and stuff like that. And that's really targeting vehicle roadworthiness, right? But it's also a very serious standard. Now, I know the Transport Commission has asked that we sort of do soft enforcement on it to educate people. Look, that moratorium has ended. Please go and get your vehicle inspected. Why? Because the ramifications is up to $1,000 and a whopping 60 merit points. So let me just touch on that as you originally asked.
And I mean, just stick a pin there, because I mean, we have a concern here in Tobago where we don't even have that many places to go to inspect. So we also have that challenge here in Tobago.
Yeah. And that's probably why the softer side on that part
and that's why a lot of people have not gone.
Yeah. I hear you on that. Unfortunately, once it became enforceable, though, it's fully up to that officer's discretion there and then. And under this amendment to the Road Traffic Act, you have a threshold to which you can lose your license, right? So demerit points target driver recidivism. Once you're a repeat offender, under the previous ticket system, you could just go pay a ticket and normal, and you just continue driving however you want. With this now, there are serious ramifications for accruing tickets because a lot of these violations carry these points, and as you said, if you reach the magic number, and I just want to be clear to everybody, once you have 10 demerit points, you'll be disqualified from driving.
For how long?
Right, so that varies. It varies on how much points you accumulated. So if you have 10 to 13, you'll be disqualified for 6 months. 14 to 19, you'll be disqualified for 1 year. And 20 or more will be a 2-year disqualification. So persons have to really think about how much their driver's permit means to them. The amendment, to me, what it showed was, one, it brought the power back to the state to take back certain things. You don't own that driver's permit. The state owns it. So they're going to take it back. And that vehicle, fancy vehicle that you bought, that registration plate attached to it, that belongs to the state too. They're going to take it back. So they're very serious about collecting the revenue for the tickets accrued. I came from a program where a person was saying how they were told that if they pay the ticket, they don't get the point. It doesn't work like that. Whether or not you pay a ticket or you don't pay a ticket, the points are yours. You're going to get it.
And then there are also consequences for not paying a ticket. I think that adds to more points that are removed from you.
Yeah, so on the amendment, you have 30 days to pay.
Yes.
Once you don't pay, two things happen. One is the points hit. And this is what I want you to understand. No matter what, your points are coming on that license. And the second thing happens is a fine escalation. First of 25%. So, for example, if you didn't wear a seatbelt, it was a $1,000 ticket and 40 merit points. You didn't pay it in 14 days. After the 30 days passed, it went up to 1,250. And if you didn't pay it 14 days after that, it went up to 1,500. And then, and this is what we're here to explain, if you still don't pay it, there's no warrant. You know, back in the day, people didn't pay a ticket. They say, oh, the police coming home with a warrant. No, they decriminalize the whole process. Because when you get locked up, the government didn't get any money. Yeah. And that's what they want. All right, so what happens now is they will lock you out of the licensing database, and you will not be able to do any transactions. And this is important. You can't renew your permit. You can't transfer it. You can't even inspect the vehicle until that permit, that outstanding ticket is paid.
Yes.
Now, here are the ramifications, ma'am. Your cousin borrowed your car, got a ticket, didn't tell you, and didn't pay it. You went to inspect your car and they say, well, there's an outstanding ticket. You say, I didn't get any ticket. No. There was a ticket attached to the vehicle. So even though you didn't get the ticket yourself, the non-payment associated with the vehicle registration also is tied into the process.
But some people might say that that's not fair.
Okay, that's between you and the state. Too late.
I guess that's
it's the truth.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it's set up. So we're here to educate people more on those. Yeah, you know.
I have a question when it comes to your permit. So now, of course, you are supposed to have your permit on you at all times. What if, for some reason, we say you didn't grab your wallet, or maybe it was in the wrong wallet, or in the wrong person, in the case of women,
happens, yeah.
And you have your permit on your phone. Would that be accepted by the officers?
All right. So just like with everything we have that legal area called discretion, right? With the digital ticketing systems now, once you produce that picture of that permit, I can verify that you are a license holder.
Okay.
So that helps me not have to move forward on the other things I would have to move forward with. Our concern is whether or not you are a license holder, because if not, you'll be arrested. That's one of the most serious offenses in the Road Traffic Act. Yeah. So if you have a picture of it and we have the devices, great. If not, we will call our command center to try and pull information from licensing database to try and verify that you are who you are and you're the holder of a driver's permit. So it's still an offense though, because if you fail to produce it to me. So later on, they may warn you of prosecution and proceed by summons to answer that charge. But we at least know that we're not going to arrest you because you have been issued a permit. Yeah?
Yes. What are some of the offenses, vehicular offenses, that are lesser known within the space? Of course, because everybody knows you have to wear your seatbelt, you know, your lights need to be working, your brakes need to be working, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But what are some of those other things that people are not generally aware of?
Well, unfortunately, the top 5 ticketed offenses, and with the digital platform now, we can, whereas before we used to manually pull all this information, a click of a mouse tells us behaviors, you know? And the first thing is still seatbelt use. The number seatbelt, now, this is the disappointing part, and I'm glad you're raising this in this space. Under the amendment to the Road Traffic Act, you, the driver, and I want to be clear to persons listening, you, the driver, are responsible for your passenger wearing their seatbelt, or you will collect the ticket for them. We don't care if the driver doesn't have a permit, if they have ID, or that's his business. It doesn't matter. The law puts the responsibility on you. So a lot of persons are getting tickets for their passengers not wearing their seatbelt. So if you're a PH driver, I mean, that's a separate issue by itself. But what I'm saying is that please ensure that your passengers are buckled in. We also have traffic sign violations continue to be a big issue, where people driving up no entries on one way, say they didn't see the sign, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., whatever it is. And then, of course, speeding. Part of what we're doing while we're here is we'll be doing numerous speed exercises. So I'm appealing to all your listeners, pay attention to your speedometer, because the prices of those fines range from $1,000 to $3,000.
And how many demerit points?
Up to 6 demerit points if you're going excess of 30 over that speed limit. So, you know, when you look at a lot of the crashes, the speed is one of the main contributing factors, and it's one of the areas that we really try to go down on. And, you know, we're also going to be distributing a lot of I'm leaving this with you as well.
Certainly.
So you can, you know, have different discussions in the morning.
Thank you, yes.
So it has all the demerit points and Arrive Alive, the road safety NGO, and you can give little pedestrian safety tips.
Yes.
So all this will be
and these are going to be given out to drivers on the road as well.
On the road traffic. But again, I'm warning drivers, there's certain things we may not give blights to when we see them.
What are those things?
One of them is seatbelts.
Yes.
Without a doubt, there's no way by now people are not aware that this is the law. And the sad thing, ma'am, is that persons will drive out the gas station and then drive into the roadblock without the seatbelt. And then they say, well, I'm now going to put it on. No. The time to put it on done pass. You're in front of me now, so this will help remind you to put it on, unfortunately. So I always remind persons, just remember these 3 things. Sit, click, drive.
Yes.
Once you follow those 3 procedures, good to go.
Yeah. And you know, the funny thing is that when it comes to seatbelts, when you're traveling, when you're outside, you don't think twice about it.
It's true.
You know you have to do it.
It's true.
But for some reason, when you're here, you know, when you're in Trinidad and Tobago, you know, feel like anything goes. You don't need the seatbelt, you know.
And then we're the ones who have to pull the bodies off the ground because a person cut a hole straight through a windscreen. And when you look at the car, the occupant compartment, it's still intact. So had this still be restrained in that seat, they would be alive right now. And so it's the little things that make a difference. So when you see us out there doing our job, it's public safety, injury and harm reduction on the roads. That's our goal.
Now, is there any tickets or offenses for driving too slow on the road?
Right. So, well, again, there's obstruction of traffic, right? Willful obstruction of traffic. And it's not something we go down the road because, like I said, I always tell people, even if you did a little defensive driving course, the speed limits are set to drive the maximum speed once conditions are good. So if it's 80, you try to drive the 80, all right? If conditions aren't good, the road is wet, it's dark, and so, then you drop your speed according to those conditions. So persons get frustrated and they start to do what I call dumb driving, where they start to try and overtake round corners and overtake a double solid line. And then they didn't see that motorcyclist suddenly appear from the sky or something. And as you know, Murphy's Law, again.
Yes. So
it's just do the right thing. Be patient. You have tourists on the island as well. They're not familiar, so they're taking their time to read the signs. And it just requires a more teamwork approach.
When it comes to parking.
Right. So let me get something clear to everybody here. Once you cause a vehicle to stand on the roadway, the violation of parking has been committed. The law doesn't say it if you're in the vehicle, if the vehicle's in park, if the engine is on. The law doesn't speak to that. Is the vehicle stopped and stationary on the roadway? Yes. Well, at that point, according to the Road Traffic Act, you are parked, ma'am. Okay? Can I see your driver's permit and insurance? So you know, pulling off now. Good. However, you have some defenses under the law. And this is important to know as citizens, right? If you're loading or unloading a vehicle, it does not, you have a defense.
So if you're a business owner,
you're offloading, all right? Now, that don't mean you're offloading and you park up there and we had to wait for you to bring down a whole set of goods, right? So if you're loading or unloading, it has to be in the act of. If passengers are exiting or entering the vehicle, okay, that's not park. I mean, you have to stop. You can't just roll them out onto the road, right? Also, if the vehicle's mechanically defect, there's a mechanical defect. If there's a fuel or for fuel reason, it just shut down, so the car cannot move. And also, if under instructions from a police officer or traffic sign for the vehicle to remain where it is, or traffic light. So, countless times we have people arguing, but officer, look at it and drive. Doesn't matter what gear and the law doesn't, the vehicle is standing on the road. Yeah?
How do you know where you are able to legally stop or park on the side of the road?
Good question, right? So that's why signage is so important and communication. What persons, a lot of people don't realize is that there might not be a sign in front of you, but it's written on the ground, no parking. And that no parking line is also a sign under law. Yeah? So you really have to pay attention to it. For example, on main road, a lot of people don't read the Road Traffic Act. So, for example, there'll be, let's just say, no parking along the North Coast Road from X to Y. Good. But there are no signs. Why? Because it's clear under the law. No signs on the North Coast Road. So if you want to park on it, you commit the offense. There's no need for a sign, right? So really and truly, persons should exercise some good judgment. You know, check and see if you're obstructing traffic. If a truck parks up there and blocks up the whole, where's the traffic going to pass? And to me, one of the biggest problems is people not being considerate to other people.
Oh yes, that's a major concern.
And so,
and I mean, because people park on the corners.
Yep.
I mean, I see some people parking in some strange places, and I'm like, do you not realize that you're making it so difficult for people to pass by you? And then it's a potential for an accident because you're obstructing the view of the other person on the road.
But then when we show up now, and we start to get, then everybody surrounds us. Oh, they're too wicked. Run down bandit. People shooting people, and you giving man ticket. So it's a tough balance all the time, you know. But traffic management is also one of the areas where we intercept criminals, just through basic checks, you know. So when you see us out there, just understand, yes, you see us doing traffic stuff, but it also ties into the anti-crime plan.
Now, in a situation of Tobago, where you know, we have so many homes on the sides of the roads. I mean, we're in some crazy places, up hills and things like that. So the only place to park is on the roadway.
Sure.
How will you guys treat with that sort of thing?
Well, again, if your home is in a no parking zone, then you'd have a problem. You'd somehow have to communicate with the divisional police or senior superintendent Jackman and find out. But that's very rare, those occasions. Not impossible, but very rare.
Okay.
For example, in Trinidad, there are people's houses are off the bus route. You know, so how we enforce that is they have to communicate with the Ministry of Works for some sort of exemption. But it is a tough balance.
Now, we're getting ready to wrap, but how do people get more information about what are traffic offenses and what are not?
Sure, if you go to drivingtt.com, because everybody's online now, it's amazing. Everybody has social media for all the wrong things, all right? But they want you to get all the information there for you. You can't seem to find our website. But drivingtt.com, Ministry of Works has our website, where it has all the traffic violations, laid out, the amount of points, the amount of fines. Always remember, if you do get a traffic ticket or fixed penalty notice, you have 15 days to contest it. If you do not contest it in that 15 days, you lose the opportunity to bring the matter before the courts.
I think you need to repeat that. I mean, there is that opportunity. So despite the fact that you might guess a ticket, there's an opportunity for you to get your way out of the ticket.
Well, yeah, exactly. So nobody's removed that constitutional right to say that law enforcement was not fair.
Yes.
So on the back of your ticket, it has all the instructions. You go to the judiciary website, you click on file a notice, you put in the details on that ticket, and you choose your date. It will generate the date, Yes. And everything is virtual. You don't have to go to court anymore. Everything's on your phone. Yeah, so the information is there.
All right, so viewers, so there you have it. How long are the licensed officers
We're going to be here a while, ma'am. All right, so
They're not
and we will be across the country, right? So
yes.
have your documents in a gear because we will be out there, okay? And just do the right thing, and we'll be good to go.
All right, viewers. So there you have it. So, you know, if you want more information, go online, check out the ministry's website and so on, and make sure that you educate yourself so that you can avoid those tickets, because some of those ticket offenses that can be for some very minor things that you may not be paying attention to. So just have a perusal of that information is there so that you can avoid, you know, giving the government your money. All right, thank you so much, Sgt Batson, for being on with us and sharing us with that information. And viewers, we have I think, we are at the end of the program now. So thank you for viewing and being with us. I hope you have a safe and wonderful weekend. Yes, be mindful on the roads because the officers are out there. So see you on Monday.
Wake up and hear me neighbor, 60,000 people strong.